So hey guys, welcome to this video. Today we are going to talk about monitors. Monitors is a topic in the subject Operating System 206, Module 3. So we will go through this topic. Let's begin. So today we are going to cover basically what are monitors, more about monitors, and to understand these two topics, that is what are monitors and more about monitors, we are going to talk about some examples, to understand it better. Then there is a process error called deadlock. I'll explain it in the coming slides. Then there's a syntax of monitors to program, of course. Then there is a monitor uses schematic view of monitors. I'll explain that also. Then this is very important, dining philosopher's solution using monitors. This is also coming in the upcoming slides. Implementing a monitor using semaphores, Java monitor, and then basically we'll summarize all this, and that is the summary. So, what are monitors? So, monitors are synchronization constructs that were created to overcome the problems caused by semaphores such as timing errors. Incorrect use of semaphores results in timing errors. So, in order to counter these problems, we use some monitors. Monitors and semaphores are used for process synchronization and allow processes to access the shared resource using mutual exclusion. So basically what this slide says is when a semaphore is used, the process is also designed accordingly. And when this happens, many errors occurs when we use semaphores. So most common errors which can be seen are timing errors, mutual exclusion requirements being violated, and a process error called deadlock. And when these errors occur, we use monitors for process synchronization. Okay, we use monitors for process synchronization so that the program can work better to counter these errors. There is this more about monitors. Monitors are high level language constructs. This is very important. Monitors are high level language construct, and monitor is a module that encapsulates shared data structure and procedures that operates on same data. So basically monitor is a program that encapsulates shared data structures and procedures that operates on the same data. Also provides high level synchronization. Okay, so it's a module that encapsulates shared data structures, procedures that operates on the same data, and also provides high level synchronization. So based on abstract data types, and only one process can be active in a monitor at a time. This we should remember always. Only one process can be active in a monitor at a time. Okay, only one process can be active in a monitor at a time. That is, simultaneously multiple processes can never be active in a monitor. Only one process at a time. And when that process gets over, another process can be included or will enter the monitor. It's a measure to prevent one or more processes to read and write at the same time. Okay, so monitor, it's a measure to prevent one or more processes to read and write at the same time. As I said before, only one process can be active in a monitor at a time, and it's a measure to prevent one or more processes to read and write at the same time. Okay, so that two points are related, and concurrency has always been an OS issue. Okay, concurrency has always been an OS issue. That is, the timer interrupts, resource allocation is necessary among competing processes, and existing synchronization mechanisms are subject to hard to find subtle bugs. So the subtle bugs are so hard to find with the existing synchronization mechanisms. So, and now we know what is basically monitor. So we'll just go through some examples. So in this example, monitor, and this is the name monitor name, data variables in this procedure means the function p1, function p2, function pn. You can initialize all this function, then there is this initialization code. So in this example, multiple processes are trying to be active. Okay, in this example, multiple processes are trying to be active, but only one process can be active. Other processes that needs access needs to wait and in queue. Okay, and are allowed to access once the previous processes finish. So multiple processes are trying to be active at the same time. So as I said, in monitors, multiple processes cannot be active. A single process at a single time. That is the main rule of monitor. So only one process can be active, and the other processes that needs to access needs to wait in a queue. Okay. So once the process in the monitor finishes, then the next one in the queue can get in, and like this, all the processes in the queues get finished. So in the example below, the mutual exclusion is violated, and this situation is called deadlock. single signal mutex, critical section, wait mutex, wait mutex, critical section, wait mutex. Okay, now we can see here mutual exclusion is violated. So I'll get in this situation is called deadlock. So I'll explain this more in the next slide. Deadlock. Deadlock is a condition where two or more threads are waiting for an event that can only be generated by the same threads. Deadlock can occur when several threads compete for a finite number of resources simultaneously. Deadlock prevention algorithms check resources requests and possibly availability to prevent deadlock. Deadlock detection finds instances of deadlock when threads stop making progresses and tries to recover. So what basically it's implied over here is a condition where two or more threads are waiting for an event and that can only be generated by the same threads. So when two or more threads, two or more, like let's consider four threads are waiting for an event, and this event can only be generated by the same threads, a deadlock is occur. That is when several threads compete for a finite number of resources. So suppose there are some five threads and there are some two sources. And when these two sources are trying to be accessed by these five resources or threads, deadlock occurs. Okay, fine. So this is the syntax of the monitors. Monitor name, and this is the shared variable declaration, function p1, function p2, and you declare whatever is required, function pn, and then there is the initialization code. Fine. This monitor is the keyword. Okay, monitor this thing. So it is that thing. So in this we can see this is a basic diagram that is used to explain monitors. So this buffer, it is a shared data, and this put item and get item, it is the procedures, and this P and C are the processes. Okay, so monitors has this procedures, that is the put item item are the functions, and these two threads or these two processes, that is P and C, in which C is trying to access the procedure get item. Okay, C is trying to access the procedure get item, and through this get item we can access buffer. So you can, the C cannot directly access the shared data, it can only access through put item, get item, etc. Okay, fine. So monitor usage. An abstract data type encapsulates data with a set of functions to operate on that data and that are independent of any specific implementation of ADT. Fine. So what happens here is a monitor type is an ADT that includes a set of programmer defined operations that are provided with mutual exclusion within the monitor. So a monitor type is an ADT that includes a set of programmer defined operations. A programmer defined operations are set up which provides mutual exclusion within the monitor. So there are some operations which provides mutual exclusion within the monitor. That is basically a monitor data type. A monitor type also declares variables whose values define the state of an instance of that type along with bodies of that function and operate on this variable. I believe this slide is clear, self-explanatory. Now this is important, this is a schematic view of this monitors. So this whole thing is a monitor, and this is the entry queue, and these are the processes waiting to access the shared data through the functions. There's this initialization code and shared data, and these are the processes or operations, that is the functions. Okay, so processes access monitors in which it uses procedures to access shared data. Get it? This processes these functions or this process access these operations to access the shared data. This is what happens in monitors. So when there is an existing procedure that has or is active in the monitor, these processes wait till this existing process just leaves the monitor, then the next one will get in. Similarly, once that finished, then another one will get in, the next one will get in, this one will get in, like that's how this queue works in this. Fine. So condition construct. So condition construct, in order to achieve everything in process synchronization, something more should be defined in a monitor. Okay, so in order to achieve everything in a process synchronization, something more should be defined in a monitor. That is condition construct, and how to declare that? That is condition x comma y. Declare this thing exclamation, and it declared x and y variables as condition x and condition. So the x and y variables are declared as conditions. We can invoke only two operations in this, that is the wait and signal. Only two operations can be invoked in this, that is a wait and signal. We have used wait and signal in semaphores, and so in monitors also we will be making use of this. So that's the main reason we are using wait and signal. Since we have used it in semaphores, we will be using it over here too. And the operation x dot wait means the process invoking this process is suspended until another process invokes this x signal. And x dot signal operation resumes exactly as one suspended process gets suspended basically. So suppose the process wants to invoke wait, it sees that another process is already using wait, then it will have to be in line or queue until this process is finishes, until so the next process can access it. Fine. Fine. Now this monitor with condition variables. Condition variable means what I said before, x and y. So again this entry queue procedures or the process is trying to access this functions to access shared data, and this is the queues associated x and y. Fine. So basically it's just the same thing, but we just add the condition construct x and y. Queues associated with x and y, this x and this y. The shared data variables cannot be directly accessed by a process and procedure and are required to allow a single process to access shared data and variables at a time, as I said before. Other processes that need to access shared variables in a monitor have to line up in a queue and are only provided access when the previous processes release the shared variables. Now, this is the important topic which I told, the dining philosopher solution using monitors. So this is the figure which I told. So this figure basically, as I said, we need the next slide to explain it. So n philosophers are seated around a circular table. So then there are five philosophers. It can be how much of philosophers you want. It can be 7, 10, 15, 20. It can vary. So right now we are using five. So we'll put in as five. So there are n philosophers sitting around a table. There is one chopstick between each philosopher. One chopstick. There's one chopstick between P5 and P1. One chopstick between P1 and P2. Similarly between P2 and P3, P4 and P3, and P4 and P5. And there's noodles in the middle. A philosopher must pick up its two nearest chopstick in order to eat. And philosopher must pick up first one chopstick, then the second one, not both at once. So we need an algorithm for allocating these limited resources among several processes such that the solution is free from deadlock and free from starvation. Deadlock, I have explained it before in the previous slide, so it should be free from deadlock and be free from starvation. So what basically is this P, suppose we can take this P1 philosopher, it should take these two chopsticks to access this noodles, but it should first either take this one and then take this one, or this one and then take this one. Okay, it cannot take both of them once together. So there exists some algorithm to solve the dining philosopher problem, but they may have deadlock situation. Dead and you cannot just be so sure that a deadlock free solution is not necessarily starvation free. Semaphores can result in deadlock due to programming errors, and programming monitors alone are not sufficient to solve this. We need monitors with condition variables. So this is where we put condition variables, so to make it free from deadlock free solution and starvation free. So this is the basic usage of condition variable. This is the program monitor dp, then there's a state 5 condition. We are initializing everything. Now we are going to pick up the chopstick, pick up int I, then we are going to indicate that I am hungry, that is state I is equal to hungry. These comments will help you to understand it much better. So if you go through the slides again with these comments, will help you to understand. Then there is the test I. If unable to it, wait to be signals. If state I not equal to eating, then self I has to wait. That process has to wait. And now we are going to do the put down choice, put down the chopstick, put down int I, state I is equal to thinking. So that is you're indicating that I'm thinking. If right neighbor r is equal to I plus 1 percentage 5 is hungry and both r's neighbors are not eating, set the r state into eating and waking it up by signal r cv. So we are basically going to indicate that I'm thinking. That is the test I plus 1 percentage 5, test I plus 1 more percentage 5, again I plus 4 percentage 5. So in this test in type, we're going to state I plus 1 percentage 5 not equal to eating, and then I plus 4 plus 5 not equal to eating, and state I is equal to hungry. So this indicates that I'm eating. Fine. So then state I is equal to eating. So the signal has no effect during the pickup. Hungry philosophers during the put down, self-I signal in it. Execution of the pickup, put down, and test are all mutually exclusion, and only one at a time can be execution. From I for I is equal to 4, this is we are going to indicate a loop over here to make sure that the neighbors are also the number two neighbors can eat simultaneously, and then the monitor ends. So we also declare to indicate the conditions. This is the condition construct we need to declare. This allows the philosopher I to delay herself when she's hungry but is unable to obtain the chopstick when she needs. So we're going to implement a monitor using a semaphores. Fine. We're going to implement a monitor using semaphores. Implementing a monitor using semaphores. So for each monitor, a semaphore mutex is provided, and a wait must be executed by a process before entering the monitor and must execute signal after leaving the monitor. Okay, so a process must execute wait before entering the monitor, and after leaving the monitor it should execute signal. Since the signal process must wait until the resumed process either leaves or waits, an additional semaphore next is initialized to 0. So what basically means the process has to execute wait before entering into the monitor, and it has to execute signal after leaving the monitor. Okay, fine. So this is the program or implement a monitor using semaphores, wait mutex, body of the f. If next count is greater than 0, then signal next, else signal mutex. Mutual exclusion within a monitor is ensured. Let's see now how each condition variables are implemented at well. So we're going to implement the condition constructs or the variables that I stored before, that is wait x and signal into this. X dot count, if next is greater than 0, then signal is implemented, else signal mutex and wait is implemented and count becomes minus minus. Operation X signal can be implemented as X count greater than 0, next count plus plus, signal XM, wait next count minus minus. So if the count is greater than 0, then the next count becomes plus plus, and signal XM is implemented, then the wait next process is implemented, then count becomes minus minus. Java monitors. In Java virtual machine, every object and class is logically associated with a monitor. To implement the mutual exclusion capability of the monitors, a lock, sometimes called a mutex, is associated with each object and class. So what happens is, if one thread owns a lock on some data, then no others can obtain that lock until the thread that owns the lock releases it. Okay. So if a thread owns a lock on some data, then no other thread can access it until that thread which locks the data releases it. Okay, fine. So this is the syntax again. Public class, simple class, public synchronized void safe method, implementation of safe method. Now this is the summary. Basically, we went through the definition of monitors, information about monitors. Then we went through examples, what happens and how the errors occur. Then we showed deadlock, it's a process error. Then we went through syntax of monitors, then the schematic view of monitors. Then the important one, the dining philosopher problem, and monitor using a semaphores. And then lastly but not the least, we went through Java monitors. Fine. Thank you. If you didn't understand anything, you can just review the slides again so that you can understand it much better. Thank you.